America, The View, The Tonight Show, you name it, they've been there. Not to mention a couple of Instagram Lives as well.
Was the best.
All before the actual parade on Thursday. I just hope some of those
God.
guys have gotten some sleep in the last 72 hours.
Nope.
But we all know the NBA never sleeps. Here's a quick look at the key dates this summer, starting with the NBA draft, June 23rd and 24th on ABC and ESPN. The negotiating period kicks off June 30th, and the 2026-27 season starts a day later. And the big one, July 6th, when teams can officially start signing and trading players. And the biggest question this week, with the draft 1 week away, lies in Milwaukee. And that's where Jamal Collier does great work as he joins us here now. So, Jamal, we know Giannis Antetokounmpo has been in trade talks for months now. With the draft night just kind of around the corner here now, what's the latest you're hearing on him potentially being moved?
Well, Sedano, it's the fact that teams are preparing for this actually to happen sometime in the next week. And after so much sort of will they or won't they with Milwaukee throughout this entire process, the movement and traction we've seen over the past week and 10 days, so much so that a source told me that they would be surprised at this point if Giannis stayed in Milwaukee. And as Brian Windhorst outlined, our buddy on this network yesterday, that Miami is the favorite right now, but the Bucks really have not been enamored with the Heat's offer, really dating back to the trade deadline. That's why a source described to me, sort of compared the situation to the Damian Lillard situation leaving Portland a few years back. Well, we were kind of waiting around and seeing if Miami would be the destination, and everything sort of pointed there. And you saw Milwaukee emerge as a mystery team late in that process to go up and grab Dame. But what you guys just showed is important, that Giannis still has one guaranteed year remaining on his contract. That makes his sway and his decision of where he would sign an extension very important throughout this process. And it's why the Boston Celtics are still very much alive and expect to be an active player in this as well, because sources have indicated that Giannis would sign an extension to remain in Boston. And that's why the Celtics are a team to watch as well in this Giannis sweepstakes.
Great stuff, Jamal. Thank you so much. All right, so two of our senior writers and insiders, Mark Spears, the Hall of Famer from Manscaped, Ramona Shelburne, and of course, Chiney Ogwumike in the house. All right, so Ramona, we'll start with you. Yeah. We've been locked into this whole Giannis drama now forever, it seems like. When it comes to these trade suitors, okay, which one makes the most sense for Giannis?
Look, I think they were more enamored with the Miami offer back in February than people realized. I think there's still some discussion about that's a strong offer there. It's just not as sexy as some of the other offers could potentially be, but that's a solid package that they would be getting from the Miami Heat. The one that's really interesting to me is Portland. Portland, because they have Milwaukee's draft picks. They also have some good young talent. So I don't know that Giannis would want to go there.
Could it be like a Toronto situation with Kawhi?
I don't know that he would want to go there. And I know Jamal was reporting about Boston, but they have a nice potential package there. They were interested at the deadline. There's also the Boston Celtics option, but what would be in that deal? Are they taking Jalen Brown back? Is Jalen Brown in that? That's a lot of money to take back. I think there's another dark horse team that I've heard, Orlando. Good young players. They kind of topped out in the playoffs. We all know what happened in that first round against Detroit. Would Paolo Banchero be a guy they would ask? I mean, these are big, good young players. That's your guy, okay? Jalen Sugg, good players. And also, there's a lot of other teams that when you watch what happened with Victor Wembanyama in these playoffs, every other team in this league needs to be thinking about Giannis as a potential to match up with Victor, because that's the man for the next 10 years. Yeah. How are you going to compete?
You know, another team that's been thrown into the fray is the Clippers, right? Like, they've been talking about a potential three-way deal where Jalen Brown would be going from the Celtics, the Clippers, and Giannis would be going to Boston. And, you know, from over here, like, Boston would certainly love to have Giannis, but respectfully, I don't know that the Clippers feel the same about Jalen, and I don't think there's been any, from what I've been told, any substantial conversations there.
He did drop 50 on him this year, on Kawhi.
Yeah. But the one thing about the Clippers is they're enjoying this youth movement.
Sure.
You know, they moved James Harden, who was 36 years old. You know, Jalen's 29, but you got Garland 26, Christie 20, Mathurin 23, Niederhauser 23, Sanders 24. I think they're enjoying this younger movement. Also, Jalen comes, that takes their $23 million in cap room. Yeah. Now, if they leave it, Kawhi's gone, goes into free agency. Now they got money to get a max guy, and also they got this pick, this number 5 pick, get another young player. So I think, from what I'm hearing, I don't think the Clippers thing is too hot. They're more inclined to get another young, talented player, and there's some great, talented young players on this draft.
So you guys know I love to take notes, especially because you guys are the best in the business, super smart. So we got Los Angeles Clippers, we got Miami Heat, Portland Trailblazers, and Boston.
Orlando.
The one, Orlando Magic as well, writing it down. But the one I have circled is Boston. I don't know if it's.
Did you wear green? I mean,
I was like, you know, hey guys, is this a sign? Green, talking about Giannis. Boston is tantalizing to me because this was a year where obviously the East became wide open, and the New York Knicks were able to capitalize in a way that you need. But when it comes to that dog factor to help them get over the hump, they already have depth at the guard position. But Giannis is that beautiful hybrid where he can bring the ball up, but also he plays like a post in some ways. He loves the mid-range. That man cannot be stopped when he is downhill. We can only say that about a handful of players in the NBA. The force and the ferocity in which he plays downhill basically makes him a post player with his efficiency at the basket, over 50, around 60. The last 4 years, this man has averaged nearly 30 points on 60% shooting. He's been so effective. And so this is a place also, considering that he's 31, he doesn't have to be that primary, always option guy, right? Like, he can take a little less pressure, especially as a guy that has had recurrent calf injuries, and really compete in a conference where it's a little bit more wide open. At the top than the West.
But I got another number for you.
Okay.
4 years, 275. You want to pay him that? Like, part of the reason we're even talking about Boston is because they have so much committed to Jalen Brown and to Jason Tatum. So if you're going to trade for him, you are probably going to extend him. That's if you're going to give up a lot, you got to give up even more on the back end with this salary.
And they were trying to get themselves out of that category. Like, that's what they did. Their moves this year was to move them out.
I have a question. I think everyone at home is probably screaming at their television and saying, what do we know about Jalen Brown's actual availability in a trade?
Correct.
Because we are putting this out there.
He had a hell of a
sense.
season.
Right. But, like, do we actually know that they have actually put him in a trade?
I think that what I have heard from teams around the league is more speculation. I think the Boston Celtics would tell you that they love Jalen Brown. He had an incredible season for them. He was in my top 5 in MVP voting. He carried them this year without Jason Tatum.
Right.
Most
I mean,
of
it
the
takes
year.
a Giannis to get that done, right?
Yeah.
But I also hear that the Bucks front office has some undue pressure on them. When your owner says, "Hey, we're trying to do this before the draft." I don't think that's a great deadline for your front office. Like, maybe
all this is leverage, though. All this is a moment of maximum leverage. But guess what? There'll be another one. There'll be another one.
Quick follow-up, though. There's no circumstance where they all can play based off of the constraints financially. It's more so one for the other, meaning maybe Jalen Brown is out and Giannis is in. Or
Derek White makes a lot of money. You can
play around the fringes.
I don't see anyone really doing that deal just for Derek White is the problem. No disrespect to Derek White, you know what I mean? All right, look, I'm not sure if you guys know. We'll certainly keep abreast of what's happening with Giannis. I'm sure for the next couple of days. But this is a big one in NBA history today. Let's throw it back to some themes of yesteryear. In 1993 NBA Finals, following a triple overtime game loss in Game 3 to Charles Barkley and the Suns, MJ scored 55 points in Game 4 on his way to his 3rd straight NBA title.
Pretty.
Michael averaged 41 points per game in those finals.
Game 4?
Fast forward 3 years later, 96. They take a 3-0 lead against Gary Payton and the Suns in the finals, losing games 4 and 5. Then Jordan and the Bulls end the series in Game 6. Jordan winning his 4th career NBA title and 4th career Finals MVP. Then in 2022, another Hall of Fame guard with his 4th NBA title. Warriors the Celtics in Game 6. Their 3rd straight win after going down 2-1 in the series. Curry went for 34, 7, and 7 in that game, earned his 1st career Finals MVP. That's this day in history. Coming up, the Wizards have the number 1 pick, but which prospect gives Washington the brightest future? The player they should be calling a week from today.
I like that. Listen to his music, y'all.
Plus, every season creates heroes, villains, and a few people who deserve a little something else, an apology. Who earned one from our panel this year?
Oh, man.
Yep.
Do we have to do this segment?
Yep, and what do you tell a team, Wizards, who own the number 1 pick, but does not plan to grant meetings with any other teams, including the Jazz, who have the 2nd pick? This is an interesting strategy from Peterson's camp. our draft expert Jeremy Wu still has BYU's AJ Debonsa going number 1 in his mock draft and Peterson at 2 to Utah, despite not working out with the team. So, Ramona, how big a deal is this that he's only working out for one team?
I don't think it's as big a deal as you might think. He met with the Jazz at the Combine. They had a good conversation and interview. They looked at his medicals. Everybody feels okay about that. I think this is more a statement from Darren Peterson saying, I want to go number 1. That's my goal. These guys, these top 4, they've been competing with each other for years for this number 1 spot. Not just in this draft.